Live from the Spill Studios, located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange. It's
Yes.
time once again for a cup of cold
Yes.
one with Corey and Carlisle.
Yes.
Yes.
How you
Like you
doing,
sound like
man?
Frankenstein from the old SNL skit.
Yeah.
Friend.
Frank and Lyle. Hey.
Man,
Nah, man. How's it going?
I am wiped. I don't know about you, man, but South by kicked my ass this year.
Oh, yeah. I think that wiped all of us out. See, did you do any of the music stuff too?
Oh, never, no.
No, that is crazy. All the music stuff. I mean, that's when it really gets crazy here, because that's when you can recognize all the traffic like getting worse. I mean, because that's how
Oh, yeah.
South by started. It was a music festival first, and they added on the film, and then the interactive part.
And the interactive part gets bigger and bigger every year.
I heard the interactive part this year like increased. I get two different reports on this. I heard like it went up 40%, and then somebody else told me it went up like 120 billion% on the other end
Well,
of the
what
spectrum.
it is there were last year 11,000 people came for the interactive portion. This year 15,000 people came for the interactive portion.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is probably getting more popular because that's a more hands-on thing for people, because people get to come in and see new technologies. They get to talk to the people who run the seminars and the panels. It's getting pretty cool. I passed by a lot of things that they were talking about. I think they were talking about like for one thing, they were talking about how to increase your I guess your presence on social media ends, and how to increase your revenue on social media ends. You know, everybody's doing Twitter now, so people flock to this Twitter thing to see how they can make money doing that.
Well, the main reason interactive's doing so well is it's a really cool convention mixed in with lots of really awesome films and a film festival. And if you stick around, you could check out the music. So it's literally that thing that people come from all over the world to go to a tech party.
Yeah,
So
no, it's real cool. I've been doing it for years. Like I said, I wish I had time to go and see more and more of those things, and I get more and more names in for the the interactive part. Like I think they got one of the creators of Facebook in this year. Did you hear about this?
no, I did not. I never do interactive.
Yeah, they brought in one of the creators of Facebook. I forgot the guy's name, and I heard it was actually kind of disappointing because everybody wanted to hear about, I guess, the revenue part of Facebook. They're supposed to introduce some means that you can actually increase your advertising on Facebook, and I guess this is for the average user. And then they came in and talked about some little function that they had, like I don't know, how to give gifts to people or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was kind of cool just having the creator of Facebook here. It just goes to show you how big this festival is getting on all fronts.
Oh, absolutely. We're so big that Tarantino ditches out on us.
I thought he was roaming around here,
No, apparently he ditched out. He left early.
but he did come here.
Well, I know that he showed up in town, but only because I know somebody who works at the hotel that he showed up to and tried to get a room at.
Where's he got to
Uh,
go? Where's Quentin Tarantino got to go? God damn it. Where's he gonna go? Tell him to keep his ass here and hang out. Like, what, you got to do another line of coke somewhere? Tell him to stick around. He ain't got nothing to
why you gotta be like that?
do. I know, man. Hey, man, I gotta get out of here, man. Talk about some movies with some other people in L.A., man. No, he's a good guy. I know him. I don't know. You've seen him more than I have. But some cool things were
Uh,
happening. What's that?
no.
I mean, speaking of of all the people who were hanging around here, there was, I don't like to do all the party stuff and things like that. I mean, there was a time that I used to think it was cool, but it was just everybody tries to flock to these parties, and
Oh yeah.
you realize when you get to these parties, I mean, yeah, I guess if it's cool, they have like free food and booze going on, and that's always cool to get. But a lot of times you just go, and the reason why you go is because somebody told you that was the place to be, and you end up going there, and you usually come back. It could be, oh, like for example, you hear that Bill Murray is going to be someplace. You hear that our Robert Rodriguez is heard someplace, is hanging out someplace, or as we mentioned, Quentin Tarantino. You know what you do? You go on those parties, and you might see them from a distance, and then you come out and you say, hey, guess what? I saw Quentin Tarantino in the room, or I hung out with Bill Murray from across the room. You know what I mean? It's not like you get to hang with these people.
Yeah, and in fact, that's if they show. Most of the time, what happens with those parties is everyone's like, "Oh, this is the party we got to go to," and it's all the people who aren't anyone who managed their way into the party, and all the people who is anyone went to Magnolia for pancakes.
Yeah, Yeah, even though I did hear that Bill Murray hung out at one party for his movie that showed here, which I
Get Low.
Get Low. Yeah, him and Robert Duvall. I heard him and Matthew McConaughey were hanging out, and who somebody else is hanging out with them. So yeah, I mean, I never like doing that like celebrity sightseeing thing, but if you're into that kind of thing, it happens here. One of the big parties that does happen here at South by that's getting bigger every year is the Perez Hilton party, because he always has somebody come in to perform, like some musician to come in to perform. Like last year, the big surprise was that Kanye West came in and Perez Hilton had him play at his party, and then Snoop Dogg played this year at Perez Hilton's party. I think Snoop Dogg will play for any fucking party, though.
Well, Courtney Love played at Hilton's party as well, from what I heard.
Oh, so that was the thing they were talking about with Hole. Was it just her?
No. Hole performed like 2 days ago, and they had a big show, and people were really upset about the show because they started out and played a couple of the old hits, and then went right into the new material and played only the new material for the rest of the show. And apparently the new material isn't any good. I didn't think the old material was any good. I've never been a fan of Hole, but apparently they showed up for Perez Hilton's party and started playing the old hits. So that went over really well.
Oh, you don't like that first album from Hole?
No, I've never liked Courtney Love.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really like, Courtney Love herself is kind of a weird chick. In fact, she's playing shit. I thought she was dead. From looking at her the way she used to live.
No, wrong Cobain.
Okay, sorry about that. I get them mixed up all the time. No, I really like Hole. And when I found out that they were playing, I was like, wow, I wish I could have seen that. And somebody told me that they actually, I have a friend who works at for William Morris in L.A., and he comes into town to do all the music stuff. And I heard him writing today. We went out to dinner and heard him writing. He kept me waiting while he did his report, and he was saying that Hold actually did a great job at where they performed. But I don't know. I wasn't there. It depends.
Oh, all I know, I wasn't there either. I just read the tweets where people were like, "Oh, hell yeah, Hole's on stage," and everyone was really excited. And then after about 15, 20 minutes, the tweets started getting much more acerbic as they started getting disillusioned with the show.
Courtney Love looks like a fucking Muppet. That's what I'm thinking. She's just a weird looking chick. I think people don't like her. For one thing, everybody thinks she killed Kurt Cobain. For another thing, she was very obnoxious, man. I mean, always getting fucked up, and she had that daughter, and everybody was wondering if she could take care of this kid. So everybody got tired of that. But I think Live Through This is a great record, man. A great DVD or album or whatever you want to call it. I think she's really talented. I even like her in the People versus Larry Flint.
She's great in that movie.
Yeah,
except the parts where she gets naked.
She got naked in that?
Are you kidding me? I think she was naked the whole way through that fucking movie.
I must have had my eyes covered like in a monster movie or something.
Yeah,
tell me when it's done.
Yeah, you're gonna go to bed tonight going, I don't remember any of that, and have terrible nightmares of seeing Courtney Love. It's like, oh my god, yes, oh shit, I totally saw that. Oh fuck me, pasty white. Ah.
I must have a Muppet head on a naked human body.
I'm gonna get a call at 4 a.m. You're gonna be pouring bleach to your eyes. Why'd you do this to me? I can't bleach my brain.
I'm gonna get online and look up every naked picture of Courtney Love I can find and tape them to your door in the morning so you can find them.
Yeah, because my wife would love that.
Now I'm gonna make you live.
Naked pictures of Courtney Love on our door. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna ring your doorbell and take off running, laugh at you from across the street. But nah, man, I wish I could have seen a lot of the music stuff. I mean, the music stuff is cool, and I wish I could get a badge for that. But we do the film stuff. We don't have any real ends on the music stuff, and I don't want to pay that much money for that music shit. I mean, it's for a badge or a wristband, isn't it? Like,
I don't even like going downtown during the music stuff to see films because it's just so crazy. Because every year there's always a music day on St. Patrick's Day, which is the craziest night of the year in Austin.
Oh yeah. I have to say it wasn't as wild as I thought it was, because I actually did go out on St. Patrick's Day. I went right in the middle of 6th Street, and I mean, yeah, this year there were a few more puddles of college girl vomit on the ground than there was usually, but for the most part, it wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. I actually think Halloween is getting crazier than St. Patrick's Day now, and Mardi Gras. You ever been down there for Mardi Gras?
No.
I,
I don't go downtown during Mardi Gras. Are you crazy?
I
I
used
don't
to.
like going downtown during Halloween or St. Patrick's
Shit,
Day.
he's like, I don't like going to downtown on Tuesdays, much less a holiday
Well,
for
I'm
anything.
I'm fine normal days now. They passed a law saying that any two-wheeled vehicle can park for free for up to 12 hours in the metered parking. So
And I think you took advantage of all of them. I have to say, I saw that little yellow scooter of yours everywhere, man.
did you?
I'm not lying. I saw, and tell me if this was you. I actually saw your scooter, like you shared a parking space with somebody in front of the hideout one day.
Yes, I did.
See, you think I'm lying? I saw the
No,
fucking
I didn't
scooter.
think you were lying. I found it amusing that you saw I did park all over downtown, so at some point, and it is hard to miss. It's kind of this bright yellow bumblebee looking transformer bike. So
It makes you wonder how many people's cars you see over and over again and just don't know because, yeah, as you said, yours is very distinct. I saw that fucking scooter everywhere. I saw that scooter in Starbucks getting a coffee. saw it everywhere, man. I was like, nope, Carlisle's here downtown. So
he sent his scooter out to get sandwiches. Hey Corey, how's it going?
yeah, no, scooter was everywhere, man. And it's,
Well, dude, I mean,
just
if you're gonna go downtown, go and park for free because they were charging $10 to $20 to park in a lot. Like apparently Cyrus found some super secret lot and won't tell anybody where it is. So apparently it's some magical lot down there that everybody thinks is a private lot but isn't.
Oh yeah,
So,
he told me that shit too. He won't tell me where it is.
he bragged about it. He's like, oh, I found this special lot, so I'm good. Oh, where is it? Dude, I can't tell you.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about tying his ass down and torturing him. I'm like gonna pull a marathon man, just tie him down and drill a hole in his teeth until he tells me where that thing is.
Why you gotta be like that? Just call up Jamie and say, hey Jamie, hold that check for a week or two. This is where the parking is.
Because I want to hurt him.
He'll call you 10 minutes later and go, okay, dude, here it is.
Please don't take that check from me. Okay, I'll tell you where it is.
I have PS3 games to buy.
PS3 game. Shit, he's got comic books to buy before that. Because I want to hurt him. That's why. What do you mean? It's not as much fun if I hold the check from him. I want to physically hurt him. No, I'll find it out at some point. I think he's doing that thing where you got to pull like you got to be part of the club after a while. Show him that you're cool. Now don't tell anybody.
Because we haven't been with him for like 10 years.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that parking lot is that secret. I mean, maybe there's like topless women parking your car for you, doing valet. You don't have to pay anything. It might be that special. I don't know. I doubt it. But he's clinging on to that thing hard, man. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's waiting for me to suck his dick or something. I don't know. Which in that case, he can have that parking lot. Come on, you gotta blow me. No,
there's the image that I was looking for tonight. Sleep well, kids. Good night, everybody.
Hey, you did it to me, man. I had to put it back on you with that Courtney Love naked shit. I had to find something to torture your ass with too. But anyway, South by Southwest was successful. We saw a lot of stuff. You could probably tell me what you saw because I'm sure you saw a lot of things. I didn't do as much as I thought I would this year because I had to do work and watch movies, and I just couldn't balance the two as much as I wanted to.
Well, I watched between 3 and 4 movies a day. There were a couple days where I saw 5, and those were just the insane days. But
Jesus.
yeah, I saw a good 20 to 30 movies this week. I haven't even tried tallying it up yet.
I couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do that. In fact, I was in one movie. What movie was I in? It was a movie with Reeves, Mr. Nice.
Oh, I missed that one.
I actually liked it. I mean, it was okay. It was a little slow at first, but when it actually started getting good, I mean, I spent so much time in a movie theater that when I thought I knew what that movie was about, I knew I had some other stuff to do that day. I just went ahead and walked out, and I was actually enjoying the film. So I had to, I can't do the.
I hear that film gets pretty awesome, actually. The people who love that film really love that film.
It's hard to tell at a festival, man. I mean, it really is hard to tell what movies are actually good and what movies people love because they're in a festival environment. I mean, we always go back to something like a movie that we really hate, which is Gentlemen Broncos, which I remember just seeing with a crowd that was just eating the movie up, man, because they thought that, hey, I'm at a festival, I got into something that not everybody else gets into. I love this movie. I don't know if you experienced that with any films that you went to. I mean, did you see any real bad ones?
No, I actually managed to avoid every major bad film. I saw one film that I thought was mediocre, and aside from that, everything else I really liked to absolutely loved. There's nothing that I was really down about. I heard about several of the bad ones, and everyone's like, "Oh, did you see this? Nope. Did you see this? Nope. Did you see this? Nope." For some reason, the schedule I picked, I picked almost all winners.
What did you hear about this movie Electrolux?
I heard that it was all right, that it was the sequel to Women in Trouble, and if you liked Women in Trouble, you'd like Electrolux, and if you hated Women in Trouble, you'd hate Electrolux.
Okay. I guess I'll wait and talk about that during our South by Southwest wrap up because I got something to say about that movie. I managed to
Ooh,
catch
it sounds like you're not happy.
I'll talk about that later.
Did you get to see Into the Void?
Nope, didn't see that.
Yeah, that's the movie that all my pretentious friends came to me and said, "Dude, that's the most pretentious movie I've ever seen in my life." And when your friends who are big Herzog fans come to you and go, "Man, this is just too pretentious for me," you know that you found a film that you just need to avoid like the plague.
Was that a Werner Herzog movie?
No, but it was. I have a bunch of friends that are like hardcore indie highbrow film fans that love 3-hour existential tours of tortured souls, and this was a movie that was a French film that was too pretentious even for them. It was beautiful.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
It was so weird to see the looks on their faces, and it's like, wow, if you hate this, there ain't no shit way I am fucking seeing this movie. Apparently, it's like 2.5 hours long, and there's 3 lines of dialogue. And
oh, you got to be fucking kidding me, man!
I'm not.
Jesus Christ.
It sounded amazing. I don't know what was up with it, but apparently somebody loved it, and it got into the festival. But people were angry. That's the one that I heard the most hate about.
Oh, the one I heard the most hate about was a movie called, what was it? Serbian film, a Serbian movie, Serbian story.
Yeah, except that conversely, that's also the film that so many people loved. Like, it's a love it or hate it movie.
See, I heard, and you'll hear about this too. I'd rather let them speak for themselves, but I heard through a certain individual that movie involved things like child rape, infant rape, even sodomy of children, and people wondering like, what is it about this movie that people think is so artsy or so great, or what is the message behind this? And people were disgusted by that movie. In fact, somebody was telling me how people in the audience just felt like they should love it because it was so raw and daring and it was bold in that it was depicted these images, and they were just like, you fucking people are just saying that because you think that you're supposed to like this. And they were really angry about it. They were angry at the person that recommended them to go see it.
Well, that from what I hear, that's not a film that should be recommended to see. It's only for a certain crowd, and it's definitely for the Fantastic Fest crowd. And the Fantastic Fest crowd ate it up. I mean, they love it or hate it. They still were. It was one of those things where all week my friends were going around saying essentially what has been seen cannot be unseen. Like, apparently that movie is just haunting everyone, but for better or for worse.
I guess. I see. It's one of those films where somebody tells me about it and they tell me all that, and I'm like, why would I even want to see that? I mean,
would like for everything I was told about the film, I decided not to see it because I was just like, you know what, that's not what I need this week. And had I heard that you were interested in seeing it, I would have said, oh no, this is not a Corey film, absolutely not. There's not the only person in the crew outside of me that I think would or should see it would probably be Cyrus, and even then I wouldn't recommend it to him.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I mean, there's some things that Alamo that won't show that seem very innocent. I mean, just say we don't support it, and then they show something like that.
What do you mean they won't show and won't support? What are you talking about?
I guess we talked about this. I know that the Alamo didn't want to show. I told you didn't want to show Black Dynamite. And
oh no, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, no, it was. I wanted to show Black Dynamite there, and it was just kind of like, we don't really support that film. We don't want to show it, and I'm just like, well, what's wrong with it? And it was kind of like, well, it's just it doesn't really respect the genre film that it's referencing. It makes fun of it, and it has a holier than thou attitude about it. And I'm just like, I know you showed movies where people get raped, molested, killed, chopped up. You even showed a Japanese movie where all these people were in blackface, and yet Black Dynamite is offensive.
I don't think they're saying it's offensive. I know that several people in the Alamo hated that movie, and I know several critics in town hated the movie. Although I hear for some reason that now that it's on DVD, that it's something of a different cut, and people are digging on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Maybe I need to. Cyrus actually gave me the Blu-ray for it, so maybe I need to go back and watch it because I don't think it's like worth hating. I mean, I saw it and I was the one who wanted to see it the most, and I actually went in with a fair attitude, like, okay, this movie falls apart at the end, but it's funny. I mean, it's just like any other parody film that I've seen. I mean, I don't know what the difference is. I mean, it's not like it's a Friedberg and Seltzer movie. It's not. It actually seems to like have love for the genre that it's making fun of, even though it doesn't succeed all the way through. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. But that was just funny to me. But anyway, Alamo's cool. I don't want to make them look like they were being shitty about anything because they weren't. And I'm still hoping that we get to do our Spill.com festival there with the director that we bring over, which I think they'll be really open to, which I can't really say who it is yet because we haven't really confirmed.
No, if it's
everything.
who we've been talking about, then yeah, they'll be all about that. They've had him before and they like him a lot.
Yeah, and I'm getting more excited the more people I talk to about it. People are like, wow, you're gonna get him? Because before, like a couple of people are like, why you want to bring that guy over? And I'm like,
because he's awesome.
I'm like, are you kidding? I'm really? Why? You ask me why I want to bring him over? Yeah, I'm just like you because he's fucking cool. That's why. I think a lot of people love this guy. It's a difference between like asking what he's done now and looking at the great shit he's done in the past. I know people are like, who you talking about? Well, you just have to find out later. You know what? You want to get into the top 5?
Sure, we're only 20 minutes into the broadcast.
Well, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, man. I got to catch up with you. Got to chat with you.
We do, man. So the top 5 brought to you by Spill.
All right, then. Let's see.
Big drop off this week.
Let's see what we have here. Big drop off in what way?
Oh, there's a big disparity between number 4 and number 3. But we'll get there.
Number 4 and number 3? Oh, it is a bit.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Oh, with all I understand what you're saying now.
See all those big numbers next to that little number?
Well,
yeah,
I saw that earlier and I was like, wow, that's a big gap between those movies. We're talking about the new movies that appear. We have 3 new films in the top 5 this week, and 2 of those movies are neck and neck, and then one of those movies is way behind those films.
Well, actually, the thing is there are 4 movies that are each neck and neck with another movie.
Is 4 movies that are neck and neck with another movie?
Well, yeah, there's well, okay, let's get to number 5.
All right, number 5 is She's Out of My League. What's his name?
Baruchel.
Baruchel. Yeah, who's going to be coming up this week as a voice in How to Train Your Dragon. This is the movie that he's finally headlining. He's the leading guy in this film. He's carrying it after being kind of just background for a lot of Judd Apatow movies, and
for a lot of movies.
For a lot of films.
To be fair, he had a TV show almost a decade ago, and that was a Judd Apatow produced thing.
Talking about Freaks and Geeks?
No, he was in Undeclared.
Oh, Undeclared,
Apatow,
yeah. I remember
worked
that.
on that. And then he's been doing background stuff, not just for Apatow, but for a lot of people. He's done a lot of stuff. And, of course, his biggest role came about 2 years ago with Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he was part of that group with Tropic Thunder. He was the guy with the glasses. And then we start to see him in things like Nick and Nora's, soundtrack, mixtape, whatever.
Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Yeah, he was actually.
Come on, that movie's cute.
It's all right. No, he actually played a bully in that movie, which I thought was the weirdest casting. But he's back to doing what he does.
Not just a bully, he played a full-on turbo douche.
Oh yeah, no, he was. Yeah, I mean, really, who's supposed to be scared of this dude? Skinny ass guy looking like a fucking hipster. But in this movie, he goes back to being the geeky guy, which I think he kind of does best as of right now. His movie's doing all right. It's brought in $6 million this weekend, bringing its total up to pretty much what the budget is now, $20 million. So not doing so bad, even though I really didn't like the film. I'm glad that he's doing okay.
All right, bringing us to number 4.
Now, this is where we get into some of the new entries this week. And number 4 is Repo Man with Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker, 2 names that were really big at one time. Jude Law was known as one of those big sex symbol hunky type guys out there, and Forrest Whitaker, Oscar Award winner, win Best Actor for The Last King of Scotland, but they both were not able to make this movie a success. It only brought in $6.2 million this weekend. Now, I've heard some different things about this budget. Some people say that the budget is $40 million. I see right now that it's reported as being $32 million, but as of right now, it's considered a flop.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's weird, too. There was a really weird schism in the geek community. All of a sudden, a bunch of big geek writers came out, and they loved the film. And it was one of those things where I was like, really? You guys, here's a bunch of guys who just jumped on Avatar and beat the crap out of Avatar, calling it unoriginal and uninspired. And here they are talking about Repo Men, one of the most ripped off fucking movies in recent history. And they were like, oh, no, it's totally okay that they stole every moment of that film from another movie.
Yeah, I actually liked the movie. I had fun watching it. But even I was sitting there thinking, like, there's nothing original at all about this film. Actually sat on the shelf for about 2 years, I think. And one of the reasons why it didn't come out was because I hear that Repo the Genetic Opera was out at that time. They didn't want to compete with it. So here it is 2 years later, and apparently even out of the way of some competition, the movie's not doing that well. Yeah, I didn't get really good reviews. Got mediocre. Didn't get bad. Didn't get great. Got mediocre reviews. Apparently people weren't interested in seeing it. For one thing, it's going up against a bigger movie that's still going to have traction over the next probably couple of weeks. And, well, probably next week I think it'll get pushed out. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's also going up against a pretty big brand, and it's going up against two major stars. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Number 3.
Oh, man. Oh, wait a minute. I like the way you crooning that. I'm pouring honey on my chest right now, the way you made that sound.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me rub it in.
Pour some sugar on me.
Okay, all right. You just ruined
Game
it.
of love.
Damn, you just ruined the mood right there, man.
Yeah, goddamn right I did. Why did you touching yourself listening to my silky smooth voice?
Why? Okay, let's...
What did you thinking about my shit?
Oh, well.
Thinking about tickling my nuts?
At least I
don't need that.
At least I can...
I don't need your honey on my nuts.
Oh, wait, I'm looking it off my chest right now. Tasty. Hairy. All right, we got... No, it didn't go that low. We got, at number 3, we have The Bounty Hunter with the combination of...
Boba Fett.
I wish. Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler. Movie got terrible reviews, but because they are the star attraction, the movie was able to bring in $21 million. The budget for this movie is $40 million, so I don't think that is actually going to be that successful, even though people are going to say the number 1 comedy this weekend. And so,
well, they can't even say comedy because Diary of the Wimpy Kid is a comedy.
Well, everybody, okay, they'll say the number one
romantic comedy.
Not featuring a kid in a Nickelodeon movie. The Bounty Hunter took the box office. Not so. Yeah, it's
You say that, but these things have consistently hang around for a while. This is exactly the type of movie that's going to linger at number 5 for a couple weeks. If nothing jumps in its way and bumps it out, it may not be a good film, but that hasn't stopped crappy romantic comedies from staying in the top 5 in the past.
Oh, never does.
I wouldn't count this out yet. I'm not saying it's going to stick around, but there's a good chance we may be hearing about this for a while, and it may be more than profitable.
It could be. I mean, even audiences came out and were kind of cool about it. I mean, they weren't as harsh as, critics are. They usually come out. I think the critics usually who come out giving movies like who are very excited about seeing these stars who say, hey, man, this movie's a great A. They're coming out saying like C, B minus. So, I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm only thinking about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But this movie is going very close with the popular brand. And that is at number 2. Sing it for me, please.
The number 2 film.
Ooh, got that Joe Crocker thing. And yeah, go Crocker, Betty Crocker, whatever. Like a rock, more like a rock.
You Cocker, you brought her.
Okay, god damn it. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Movie with no real stars in it, some familiar faces, but I was just talking to Cyrus about this earlier in a review that we did. You're beginning to see now not exactly stars being big draws, but brands. And Diary of a Wimpy Kid is based on a series of books that are very popular with kids. And it was popular enough to bring those kids into the theater to bring this movie up to $21.8 million. The movie cost, because there's no big names in the film, $15 million. And so this movie has already made a profit. Number 2 this weekend. So not bad at all.
And this is where it's weird this weekend. I'm really curious to see what happens tomorrow, because of course there's only $800,000 in estimate between the number 2 and the number 3 film. One reported 21.8 and the other reported 21 even. And then 4 and 5 are the exact same way. She's Out of My League reported 6.01 million, whereas Repo Man reported 6.15 million.
Yeah.
So quite literally, $200,000 one way or the other completely reorganizes this top 5, except for the number 1 film.
And that is, for the 3rd straight week in a row, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, which this weekend brought in $35 million. And the movie cost $200 million to make. It has made $265 million so far. So movie's doing great, man. Nobody even thought this movie would be doing this great this fast.
Well, I had a suspicion. I wasn't laying down any bets, but this doesn't surprise me at all. 3D plus Tim Burton plus Johnny Depp in a family film with a Disney brand, yeah, it's going to do well. I think Disney spent their $200 million very well.
Yeah, the movie opened up with $100 million in its first weekend. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are just like, wow, we knew it was going to do well, but shit, not that goddamn well. But,
now, everybody's happy about that except Fox, of course, who are very bitter.
And why are they bitter about this?
Oh, because Alice in Wonderland chased Avatar out of all the 3D screens, and the week it got pulled out of the 3D screens, all of a sudden there was a huge drop, and now Avatar is sitting at number 8 with only $4 million this weekend because you can't see it in 3D in that many places.
I don't think 20th Century Fox is pissed whatsoever. I mean, they think they got their money, and they think they're happy.
Well, no, they're happy with the performance of Avatar, but the thing is that Avatar wasn't done. They're actually talking about re-releasing it in the fall, and since that because in the fall is the only time there's a slot open for 3D screens and IMAX screens. They want to bring it back into IMAX and onto 3D screens. But on top of that, they're in order to entice people to come back and see it a second time or maybe an 8th time, they're looking at making a director's cut, which will probably be 10 minutes longer.
Oh shit! That movie was long enough as it is.
He's got 40 minutes of material, but the problem is that IMAX platters can only hold 10 more minutes of film.
And what do they think is going to happen? I mean, the thing is that there's so many 3D movies starting to come out. I mean, as 3D is picking up with a lot of films, I mean, there's going to be competition to put these.
Well, that's why they're putting it out
now.
in the fall. Nobody's releasing a big 3D tentpole in the fall because those never do well.
So tell 20th Century Fox to settle the fuck down. Ain't nothing wrong with them. I mean,
how would you feel if you had a film in the box office that people were still going to see and was still in the top 5 every week and still pulling in huge buckets of cash, and the only reason it's not pulling in that much cash anymore is because you got taken out of the theater so that somebody else's movie could be put in there? That's the only reason.
If I was sitting on top of $737 million, I'll be wiping my ass with $1 million bill saying, so what? I mean,
but they want to wipe their ass with even more $1 million bills.
Yeah, I mean, just this weekend we have How to Train Your Dragon, which is the movie that I was talking about. That and Hot Tub Time Machine, they're both going to be coming out. And How to Train Your Dragon is going to be in 3D, and we're going to have tons of other movies come out in 3D. I mean, things are going to get pushed about and shuffled about. So, I mean,
but I'm just saying, we're going to see more Avatar here in the fall as a result of it getting bumped out before its time was up.
Well, we'll skin that bright blue cat when we get to it. I mean, it'll be fine. And you know what? I'll go see it for the extra minutes. But right now, it's like, look, Avatar's had its day. It's run its course. Everything has to be pushed aside for something else. And that movie should not. No studio should be complaining. They should be like, I could have done better. That sucks. But hey, you know what? That's a history-making film just for the financial aspect alone.
Sure, but I mean, you also look at the fact that it could even do better historically. I mean, right now it's sitting at number 14, the 14th highest grossing film of all time in the adjusted chart, I think. I haven't checked that in a little while, but it's slowly creeping up, and it's creeping up. It's not going to take the number one place because no
No.
one's ever going to be able to beat Gone with the Wind. But it
Well, that's
could.
only adjusted with inflation. Outside of inflation, yeah, it could probably still move up. I doubt if it move up that much more though.
Well, we'll see when it's re-released, because re-released with 10 more minutes of footage, that might be enough to bring people back to see it again.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not gonna argue with that. Uh, hey, if it's especially something that's worth seeing, like if it's just spaceship stuff and I mean whatever.
No, apparently the two scenes that I've heard specifically about, one involves uh, I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden. The main character proving himself.
Sam Worthington.
Yeah, Sam Worthington proving himself to the Red Blue Cat people. If we're going to call them that.
The Navi.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a scene of him proving himself to the Navi, and then there's apparently a scene of Sute getting drunk and having some kind of an amusing fit. Those are two scenes that they've talked about, including back in. But apparently, it cut 40 minutes from the movie, and they really like the idea of milking that cow until it's dry in the fall.
You want to bring more people in, have one of those cat chicks get naked. That's what you do. Make that sex scene a little bit better.
I do not want to see the sex scene that supposedly exists, and I do not want to see it.
If it exists, put that shit in there. That's what I want to see.
Oh, the Corey Coleman cut.
Yes, I'll go see that 3 times. I'll make it pop up in. I'll push that shit up in the all-time movies of highest grossing movies of all time.
You put that
in.
That's a different kind of 3D.
No, it's perfect for 3D. Cat ass all in your face. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, where's that footage? They better have that on the DVD so I can enjoy it.
Have you not heard about this?
No.
Yeah, they've actually talked about including the sex scene on the DVD.
Great.
That he did. The sex scene was much more intense.
I hope they have it like on regular porno DVDs where you can pick the angle that you want. If I want to see cat ass, I can see it. If I want to see cat boobs, I can see it. I'm excited about it. Now you're talking my language with Avatar. Avatar just got way more exciting for me. I'm on a champion Avatar now. I've only saw it once. I'm gonna go out and buy that DVD. I hope they put it on IMAX.
You've still only seen it once?
Yeah, I've only seen it once. I mean, that's the thing, man. I really did want to go see it at the IMAX theater over at the Bob Bullock. I really did. And the one time that I tried to go do it, it was sold out. And the only time you could go back and see it was on a Sunday night. That's the only time it wasn't sold out. And I was like, 2.5 hour movie on a Sunday night. Like I'm talking about like at 9:30 or 10. I'm like,
well, that's the thing is the last week that it played at the IMAX, they were still selling out the theater, and that's a 400 seat theater.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it, and I don't know. It's to see it at the IMAX. It was one of those things where you actually, this is something I haven't had to do in years. You had to like order tickets like 24, 48 hours in advance, maybe even a little bit more. So I'll get around to it. So hey, maybe that re-release is a great thing. Hopefully they'll re-release it at IMAX, and I'll definitely go see it then.
I've seen it 4 times already. I love the thing.
Damn, where you getting all this fucking time to go see movies, man?
I do it for a living.
Yeah, but 4 times you already saw it?
Well, I saw it at the initial screening when we saw it. I saw it at Butnumathon. I saw it when I went on vacation and took my mom and nephews to it. And then I saw it when a bunch of friends went out and saw it again, like in February.
Wow. See, I love movies, but I mean, with me hardly sleeping as it is, I just can't see myself spending any more time in the theater than I have to. I mean, I'm excited about new movies, but to go see a movie that I've seen before, one movie I'll do it every now and then. I saw some of them by default, like Brooklyn's Finest. I saw that again, but I wanted to see the different cut of it, so I could see how, that was justified to go see that again. I'm trying to think of a movie that I really loved that I've saw twice at the theater, and I can't remember what that is. I haven't done that in a long time, man. Oh well. Anyway, so what else is going on now that we've covered the top 5 there, my man? I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm sure there's some great things happening.
Nothing. Not really. I mean, South by because South by was going on. Most of the movie news was nobody released anything big. There's a rumor circulating that Chris Evans has been offered Captain America.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. I thought maybe I talked about it on the call-in show yesterday. But I don't know how you feel about that. But out of all the people that they were talking about, because they were talking about the guy from Gossip Girl, and then they were talking about who else? They had one other guy in the running. I forgot who that was. But out of all of that, I think John Evans,
Krasinski.
No, hell no, that's not the one.
No, John Krasinski was in the running for it.
But they narrowed it down to 3 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was.
I wasn't paying attention to the final round because that was in the middle of South by, and they kept throwing out names, and it's like I don't care.
It was John. Oh, that's who it was. Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Because I told everybody, do you really want a 1940s guy dressed up in some tights with a shirt coming out talking about, yo, man, I'm Captain America. What's up, dog? I don't mean, everybody knows that Channing Tatum talks like a black guy. I don't see that changing for Captain America.
Okay. I don't know the extent of his acting chops. I haven't seen him do anything that's impressed me. But I never saw
Dear John.
No, no, I haven't seen that actually.
You didn't see that dancing movie?
Step Up 2?
No, he was in Step Up 1. He was the original Step Up.
Oh, was he?
You better recognize, man. Come on. Yeah, he was the original guy.
That's what we have the co-host for, man. The co-host is the guy who catches those bullets.
Channing Tatum made like a small appearance, but he was in Step Up. He was in you remember him in Fighting? You love Fighting.
No, I liked Fighting. I didn't love Fighting. I walked out going, hey, that was entertaining. But I've forgotten most of it already.
Well, you remember Channing Tatum like, hey, man, you want me to fight?
No, I remember that. What I'm saying is I haven't seen him try to play a role that, goes outside out of his safe zone.
Well,
so I don't know if he can actually act. For all we know, that might be one Shakespeare performing motherfucker, but that he does this because that's what all the ladies like and that's what makes him the money.
Can I tell you something?
Tell me something.
He's not a Shakespeare acting motherfucker. How
do you fucking know, motherfucker? He could be all up in Hamlet shit for all.
Because I saw Channing Tatum Hamlet. Yo, to be or to be not. That's the question, motherfucker. Come on, the guy can't. I actually saw him.
Yeah, he will bust a Titus Andronicus in your ass. He will take you the fuck to the 12th night, bitch.
You know what he'll say? He'll ask you, yo, what's Titus Anonymous? What's that mean?
Well, you got to pick on the guy just because he's white.
Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Sorry about that, dog. I'm just reading what I see right here. No, man. The guy, let me tell you this much. About him, man. Because I don't know the guy. I'm not one to drop names when I see somebody. He actually came into the Hollywood.com office once, and I made a joke. Like he came in and said hi to everybody, and Jamie made some joke, and I told him, I said, hey, man, why don't you take care of that guy for me? He was there for Fighting. He was doing an interview. I said, man, I saw you in that movie. Why don't you take care of Jamie over here? And he was like, no, man, I ain't even like that, man. No, that's movie stuff, man. That's movie stuff. That was him. So he is playing himself in every movie. And I like Channing Tatum. I think I think that the guy has a great look. And with the right role, I think he's fine. But Captain America, come on, man. No. Hell no. That's why I say Chris Evans was the perfect choice. Let's see. One, the guy looks like some sort of all-American, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, apple pie-like type guy. He looks like everybody's favorite quarterback. Two, I mean, maybe you don't like every movie that he's been in, but he can act. And three, well, as far as somebody who would look good in a Captain America suit, I always put the Batman test to it. Like, who looks good wearing the hood, wearing the cowl? Looking at Michael Keaton as Batman, never got past that jaw. So I'm picturing him in the actual costume. He passes the jaw test for me, as dirty as that sounds. Hello?
Okay. So no, I'm listening. I'm letting you talk. You had something to say on it. I really fucking don't. I look at him and I go, no, he's not Captain America.
Well, okay, well then that's interesting. Who would you choose as Captain America?
I'm not entirely sure. The person that the guys that I want, they made the movie 10 years too late for them. I think 5-10 years ago, why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? Captain Tight Pants from Firefly.
Nathan
Fillion. I think 10 years ago, Nathan Fillion would have been great as Captain America. I think I like Ryan Reynolds a lot, but of course he's the Green Lantern. Most of the guys just, the guy I think is fucking Captain America straight up is Matt Damon. That's who I wanted for a long time. I think Matt Damon would have been great. But Matt Damon's gotten just a little too old to play, 1940s Cap, which is what's important. And they want to sign somebody who can do 10 years worth of movies. So they've got to go young. So I think Chris Evans is fine. I think Chris Evans is a little goofy for Captain America. I think that's one of the problems is that I'm not as convinced on him, sold on him as the serious Cap, but we'll see what happens. I think of the guys they talked about, Chris Evans is the most solid. I like him. He's done a number of great jobs in films in the past, even mediocre or bad films he's good in.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Looking at him in Push, a movie that I didn't think was that good, but required him to be a little more serious than something like Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four.
But Johnny Storm, he was the best part of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, he was the only part of that movie worth watching.
Exactly. That's why I like Chris Evans, and I really think that he has – I know what you mean. Like, he can't be the smart aleck guy. Okay, let me say this. For people who don't know Captain America, and I never grew up reading a whole lot of Captain America books because, to be honest, I just couldn't get into the costume. And I read a lot of fucking comic books when I was a kid. A lot of ridiculous shit, too. But – if you know who Steve, his real identity, Steve Rogers, he goes into the army being a weakling. So I wonder how they're going to do that. I wonder what the process is going to be for that. Are they going to like give him a CG body where he's really weak, or is he going to bulk up in the middle of the production? I'm just curious to know what they're going to do with that part.
Well, the easiest thing to do would, first of all, be to gloss over that, and do it with a few cutscenes. Like they did in The Incredible Hulk. Rather than doing a full-on origin story, have the origin in the credits, and just jump right into him as Cap.
See, I want to see the origin. I don't want them to gloss over.
Right. We've seen way too many origin stories. I like the idea of what they're doing. I mean, they're giving us a proper Captain America origin. They're not just jumping into him in modern day. They're jumping into him in World War II. Yeah. So they're giving us the World War II Captain America movie. I don't need to see him get the shot.
That's such a big part of who Captain America is.
No,
though.
it's not.
It's like because I tell you why they did the cutscenes in the Hulk is because they considered it like, okay, this is a Hulk movie that came still fairly soon after the last Hulk movie, so we don't really need to do that. Now I can understand if you want to keep I don't want them to like go through like a whole 20-30 minutes of him being like the weakling Steve Rogers. I agree with you. I don't want to see that. But I always hate when people gloss over like certain parts of a story in the middle of the credits, because that's what it seems like to me, just a gloss over.
But that aspect of Captain America, it's not like Batman's origin. It's not one of those things where it is so integral to who he is as a character. The fact that he used to be a wimp is not all that important to Captain America. What's important to Captain America is America and its values, and that he embodies that. He is a rock star come warrior for America. I mean, he really – who he was before is really left behind. The wimpy Steve Rogers, it's not like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's actually a better analogy. It's not, hey, look, I'm really excited to be this guy because I used to not be this guy and I still have to kind of pretend to be this guy. Steve Rogers goes from being a wimp to being Captain Awesome overnight, and he never looks back. And so I don't think it's important to focus on that at all.
See, I think it is important because first of all, people love that story, the transformation from being a geek or a weakling to being something strong. People love to see that transformation, and people would love to see him get pushed around, maybe get turned down, get rejected, only to become like the greatest soldier ever. I think people would love that. I know I would love that.
Captain America's story, his whole twist, the thing that makes him interesting is that he's out of time, that he, was this great guy in his day, and then something terrible happened. He got frozen and wakes up. Originally, it was 20 years later. Now we're looking at when they make it, it's going to be 60 years later.
Yeah.
This actually longer than that, almost 70 years later that he's going to be waking up. So it's that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a story about a guy who is out of his element, and that's what it's going to become. And this whole movie is, in a sense, an origin story, but it doesn't need to be the weak, scrawny kid. That's so immaterial to who he is that I don't want them to make the movie without referencing it, but I really don't want to spend 5-10 minutes going through all that, because it's really simple, basic stuff that doesn't need any real explanation. He goes into the military, they give him a super soldier shot, he becomes Captain Awesome.
See, and I guess, and I see what you're saying. I guess my whole thing is like, I like knowing that there is a man behind the story. Like, the hero is great, but I think it's a cool story. I think it can be more epic if you show the humble roots that he came from, and then you show the man behind that, so that you really feel like you're watching a real person behind the costume also, because that's what makes, you're right, that's what makes Spider-Man so great, that we know that this is a guy who had to go through some of the same challenges and obstacles that people go through every day, and that's what they're going to make them cheer him on.
But we're going to see that. But what we're going to end up seeing is we're going to see that guy who is really great and who was the premier guy of his day and age taken out of his element and dropped into a world he doesn't understand that has completely different values. I mean, when Captain America was frozen, you didn't even acknowledge that you were gay, let alone try to get married publicly.
Yeah.
Women did not speak out on a regular basis. Women knew their place. I mean, that was one of the great things about the Ultimates, is how he treated women versus how he treated men, and just several of the storylines in there that were just really great, of this guy who's trapped in the 40s trying to deal with modern women. And I think that's where we're going to see the weakness and the flaws and the reality of the man, which is this man who's finding it very hard to change.
Yeah, no, I think that's true too. I'm not really arguing with you per se. I'm just saying, like, I know what would make it for me, and I never like movies where they went through a montage, because it seems like that they were just trying to rush everything along. Like Daredevil, I didn't like there was a montage of how he got blind, and then that went so quick. I mean, now, and I would even say maybe a flashback would be better than just like showing us the montage through names, or just to like rush it along real quick. But even then, I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. I think if you have an epic story there, and I think Captain America has that type of a story where it can be truly epic if they show us everything about this guy, then you really have a movie where you really root for that character, and we get to see everything about him. I don't know how long this movie's going to be, so it's also going to depend on that. But hey, we got to spend a lot of time with this guy, and future movies, especially with him interacting with other characters. I really want to see everything about him that I know from the comics. So, just two different perspectives on that. We don't know what they'll do, though. I mean, they might rush it along, because that might be the greatest story in there, where he gets frozen and gets discovered later in time. That is a great part of the Ultimates, though, when the way he comes back and all his values are just old. And I mean, he's trying hard too, and people just don't. He's just so misunderstood,
And you know what? I'm really hoping in the Avengers movie they have that great moment from the Ultimates where he wakes up. And Nick Fury's there. He's like, "I'm General Nick Fury," and Captain America lunges out of bed and starts kicking people's ass and says, "Nice try, Kraut. I know the highest-ranking black man in the American military, and he's only a lieutenant."
Yeah, no, I remember that from the book, and that was
that's
great.
Just like, that's one of those great moments where it's like, shit, that's kind of awesome, actually, that they went there.
Yeah, no,
I'm really hoping that's in the movie.
That was a great moment in the book, and it was little things like that I loved. There was and I don't know what's happening with this. I think they're really trying to rush this along, because I had heard recently that Joe Johnston, who was directing the movie, Paramount told him that, hey, look, you better choose somebody quick, or this project's going to be given to somebody else, because he's taking they were supposed to have casting done by now, and he's still trying to pick somebody. So he's
got to go through training, intensive training. He's got to get beefed up. He's got to make this film because they're on schedule to make the Avengers, and they need Captain America for the Avengers because the story's going to revolve around him.
Yeah, and if they don't hurry up and cast somebody, it could possibly be pulled from Joe Johnston and given to somebody else. I mean, they really are tired of waiting for him to cast this movie. So I know some people who are actually saying, yeah, I hope you do take it from him, because a lot of people are very nervous about him directing the movie, that is. So
I think it's the perfect film for him. I'm actually very excited that they picked Johnston. Like we've talked ill of Johnston in the past, but that's because Johnston is one of those guys. His head is in the 1950s. And he loves the serials of the 30s, the war movies of the 40s, and the monster movies of the 50s, and he's gonna nail Captain America.
I hope so, man. I mean, I've only liked a couple of his movies. Like I really love The Rocketeer, which you're right, he was perfect for that.
And The Rocketeer is very much, that was his 1990s Captain America movie.
And that's why I'm saying hopefully this will be good for him, but we do have to have Captain America come into the present. And so I don't know.
But no, Captain America won't come into the
present. Oh, he's going at the end of the movie. Yeah, it's going to be a World War II movie.
And in fact, the rumors that we're hearing is that the what are they called? Not the Defenders. What's the name of the Invaders?
Yeah.
That the last half to the third act of the film is going to be the Invaders. I think that's what they're called, with Submariner and the original Human Torch, the old World War II guys that fought along with Captain America. That they're all going to be part of the second half of Captain America. I think Johnson's perfect for this.
Yeah.
So
hey, look,
the waking up part's going to be the Avengers, and that's gonna. I don't want Johnston for the Avengers. I want someone else for the Avengers.
Yeah. No. I love that Marvel's trying to get all this stuff together to like bring all these heroes together for the Avengers. And a lot of people are doubting that. I think that actually they're still going to do it because they're pushing this too much. I even hear like there's going to be a cameo of Thor in Iron Man 2 and. So they're still doing this thing of trying to cross-reference superheroes. So
yeah, they want to get everybody excited and ready for the Avengers.
Yeah, and we already saw Nick Fury is going to be in Iron Man 2, and so yeah, I'm eager to see what they'll do with this. I hope they actually do put an Avengers movie together. And I don't know, looking at Joe Johnston, like I wasn't crazy about The Wolfman. Didn't like Jumanji that much. Really did like October Sky though. That was a pretty good movie. Did you ever see that?
Again, set in the 50s.
Yeah, no. So, hey, you know what? We'll see what happens. I'm not going to judge the guy before the movie comes out. All right, man. You got any email or tweets?
Yeah, we do. It's coming to the end here, but let's hit a couple. Okay, this one's really easy. The Trousered Ape. What advice would you give to a young, just out of college dude wanting to get into your line of work?
Wow, man, I've answered this so many times.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to answer. I'll let you
right
go
now,
answer.
Don't get into this line of work. That's my advice right now. Unless you are dead set or you have a way in, right now it's a really odd time. There's going to be a 2-3 year period where everything's just insane. There's so much infighting going on right now. There's so much ugliness behind the scenes with a number of sites that right now there's going to be a culling coming soon as sites realize they can't afford it and the people need to move on to more profitable careers. But at the same time, we've got all these print people jumping ship into the internet, and they've got venture capital behind them. And until that venture capital dries up for a number of them, and until a couple of these sites finally give up, it's going to be really rough. It's a great community. I love so many people in the community. That was one of the great things about South by, is seeing a bunch of the people that I only know online, and all of us hanging out together, going out for barbecue, seeing movies. But it's really one of those things where I see how tough it is for so many people. Really, right now is not the time. But if you absolutely insist, if you must do it, if this is what you want to do for a living, get ready to write for about 4 or 5 years for free, and just be writing every free moment you have, and build up your chops. Read constantly, learn the style, get to know film critics in your area, talk to them, go to early screenings, write things up, and keep your fingers crossed, and take any opportunity you get to write for somebody. That's pretty much it right now.
And along the lines of what you said, I think that's good advice. My advice, what I always say is, look, what we do, I can't really speak for the other guys here, but I think I would be correct in saying that we just got into it. I mean, it was something that we got into, not ever thinking about getting paid. It was something that we got into because we like going to see movies. You know, shit, I tell people, you probably know this story. Most of the people on Spill do that. I got into this just to see free movies years ago.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that if I thought if I was going to do it, there should be an original voice to it. So I just found what best suits my personality to present myself. I would recommend especially with movie reviews. Anybody can get on the internet now. It's not even like it used to be before the internet came about. It was a little bit harder, which made it, in effect, a little bit easier for you to go out and make a name for yourself because there wasn't as much competition. So if you really tried hard and really went out there and pushed yourself, people could recognize you. But now there's people doing it because they have an easy outlet with the internet. So it's going to be more important for you at this moment to find out what makes you so special that separates you from any other guy out there that can make a video, that can write a review, that can do a blog, that can even, even make a short film to present how they do things. I mean, it's so many ways to do it. What is your way? And the more different it is, and the longer you do it, because you can't be able to give up on it real quick just because you're not making money or just because people don't want to see you. Because some people say after 2 weeks, oh, nobody's paying attention to me. I only got one comment this week. Well, you got to go longer than that. You're probably going to have to do it for years, or at least a year before anybody pays attention to you. So,
it's going to be years unless you know somebody or you meet somebody that's got an opening.
Well, with us, we were approached. It wasn't like we went out looking for it, that's always been my thought.
But keep in mind that we did it. You did it for what, 12 years for free before somebody came and said, I want to give you money. And that wasn't until we found an original way to do it that no one else was doing it.
Yeah.
You're talking about it took a year after we started doing the animated reviews. But the animated reviews came after over a decade of getting our shit down.
Well, it was that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing the Access show, because I was thinking, like, you know what? Because I did it for years just for fun. I mean, we did it because, and even then we were getting some sort of notoriety in town. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, I mean, even before you and Cyrus came on board, it was me and co-host, and then it was me and Leon after a while, and we were getting all kind of free meals and free stuff, and people were like recognizing us around town, giving us free drinks, and so it was just fun. And then one day I just woke up and said, you know what, I'm at that point now where I'm either in it to make money or I'm not in it at all, and that's why I switched the way to do it. And really, like I said, if you're good and if you have something original to say, there's a chance people will come to you, but don't ever give up on it. You have to like really put it in there, and the only way to do that is to have fun with it. Don't ever get into anything that you don't enjoy doing, because you're gonna drop it quick. So that's my recommendation there. You got anything else?
No. Why don't you pull out your email of the week?
Okay, we got a good one here from John Wiener, who wants to know about summer internships. I was wondering if you guys at Spill had any intern positions opening up at the Spill Studios this summer. I'm currently a sophomore, illustrator major at MICA, and I could really use the job experience. If you're taking any interns, I'll happily send you a portfolio. So he goes on with some more stuff here. Great work, and keep it up, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here, anyway. If I could use some interns, it depends on what you want to do. If you're an artist, send me a portfolio, and I'll have to put up this information later for it, because I was just thinking about this, because I'm at the point now where we could use intern help. And if you need hours for it, if you're an artist, I do have some stuff that you could do. However, if you're not an artist and you have any ideas on what you could do as a summer internship that you think might appeal to us, if you're not an artist, you probably would have to live in Austin. I would love to hear people's ideas on what they could do, and I would be willing to put out there with what we need help with. But for the most part, you'd have to live in Austin to help me out. Or you could probably be in New York, because I know up in New York in their office, they do have interns, and they put their interns to work doing a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't have you do. I'm more the art end. They're more the development end in New York. And what I mean by development is kind of like helping out with the design and cleanup and maintenance of the website. So I'll put up some details about that a little later as I get a lot of the stuff with the Spill.com festival in place. So as it gets close to the summer, maybe about, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months, I'll start putting up some notice on what we could use for summer internships. So answer is yes, but I can't give you details on it right now. So that's it, man.
All right.
Anything else?
I got one last one.
Sure.
Rock42 asks,
Yours?
when do you think it's okay to use a tragic real-life event as a plot device in a film?
Oh, you want to answer that? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, this relates to a film that happened.
Remember Me?
Yeah, Remember Me. It came out a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of us were really bothered by what happens. We won't spoil it for you, but it's got the worst ending in modern history. When do I think it's okay? I think it's totally okay to use historical events in films, especially tragic ones. But it has to play a central role in the theme of the film, especially when it's something huge like the bombing of Pearl Harbor or 9/11 or the Oklahoma City bombing. You know, something that really is a touchstone, something that affects people emotionally, something that you're hoping to draw a lot of power from. You better tie that in thematically and and tied in very well to the film. In Remember Me, it is not tied in well. It comes out of left field. Some people are like, no, there are subtle hints, and if you pay attention, you can. No, it wasn't central to the story. It was not important to the story. It was treated as an afterthought in the film. They may have known that afterthought was coming, but it was not important in the film, and you cannot do that. The key is if you're going to use something that important, you better do something real with it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Simply put, the easiest thing to do when approaching sensitive subject matter like that is to, first of all, do you want to tell the story about it? Do you have something to say? If you want to tell about the event itself or a key part of that event or maybe some side stories of that event, even if they're fictional, then it's okay to do that. You keep it in mind that that is either your central plot and you bring an awareness to it, or it's a backsetting that makes sense. Because there's some movies that don't even, and granted, they may not be very good movies, but they're not offensive, and they sometimes that is the setting for a story that probably doesn't have that much to do with it. What was that movie with Don Cheadle and Adam Sandler that was set right after 9/11?
Reign Over Me.
Reign Over Me. Yeah, that had something to do with a story between two guys, and one of them was still getting over losing. I think. Am I right here? Did Adam Sandler lose his wife?
I can't remember. That film was so forgettable.
See, that's the biggest offense of that movie. Is like, you know what? The backdrop was post 9/11, and it was, and I think that maybe an event affected some guy's life. If I remember, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But either way,
I didn't find that offensive.
No, but it was not. No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't offensive at all. They told a story that you kind of were aware of what was happening. They didn't pull the rug out from under you at the end of the movie, trying to use that event as a cheap emotional device. And that's where it gets offensive. If your movie has nothing at all to do with some sort of tragic event, then and at the end of it, you want to make people cry just by bringing it up, that's offensive because it's cheap. You either tell the story about something that happened, sort of like United 93, where we get we don't know what happened on that plane, on that flight, but that is a story that we know about, and they kind of did a reenactment of it. That's fine. They're bringing awareness to that. But and I'm just going to tell people know by now. If you haven't seen Remember Me and you want to know the ending, fine, stay. If you don't want to know, then go away right now. And that'll be the end of the show, so you can stay gone. But at the end of Remember Me, the main character, Rob Pattinson, dies in one of the World Trade Center buildings, and the movie had nothing to do with that. And then at the end of the movie, when he's like made peace with his family and everybody's getting together, all of a sudden they decide to make it tragic by pulling out and showing you like, he's in the World Trade Center. Oh, one of the planes is about to hit. Now everybody's crying.
Yeah, it was treated as a twist.
Yeah,
it was like he's in his father's office. He's finally gotten all his shit worked out. and he's looking out the window, and we're like, wow, he's really high. And then they reverse angle and they pull back, and he's in one of the towers. And then they immediately cut to his sister's classroom, and the teacher steps out in front of the blackboard, and she was covering up the date, and it says September 11th, 2001. And you're just like, oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And that's the end of the movie. And there's about a minute of slow-mo running in the streets and oh my god and crying, but really that's the end of the movie. That's how it ends.
You couldn't make us care about this character enough, and he couldn't have died some other way this guy could have been, if you really wanted to kill him, first of all, it's offensive because the movie ended at a perfectly good note. I mean, we could have had a happy ending for that film and be fine with it. It's not that fucking great that we got to make it tragic. But he could have got mugged. Because he was a guy that would have made more sense. He was a guy that was kind of a troublemaker, or he was always getting off in people's business. Like they show a scene in the movie where he's trying to stop this guy from getting beat by these other two guys. Hey, maybe he repeated the same thing, didn't learn his lesson, and he dies that way at the end of the movie. It relates back to what his character's about. Nowhere in that fucking movie do we hear about 9/11. So yeah, that movie's very offensive just for trying to get a cheap cry or to get a cheap emotion for this guy who you didn't really care about all that much. So now they're gonna make you care about having him do what? Die in 9/11? Fuck you. So yeah.
And with that, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.